Power of Railwayism, where tension ends and excitement begins, enriching life with selfless service. As we are moving on to a new chapter, and today we are talking about stress, the silent enemy. And yes, Stress Awareness Month has been held every April since 1992 to raise awareness of the causes and cures for stress. And research shows that it takes 30 days to change your actions into habits. For stress is a universal human experience, regardless of age, sex, ethnicity, and religion. And no one is immune to the burdens of stress. Studies show that 77% of the Americans experience moderate to high stress. 91% of Australians feel stressed. And in the UK, about 74% believe their stress was making them ill. And 86% of Chinese workers report of stress. So what are the top causes of stress? Some of the most frequently cited sources of stress are money, work, economy, family, relationships, job stability, personal safety, etc. The common symptoms of stress are anger, fatigue, lack of motivation, anxiety, nervousness, headaches, feeling sad, tension, appetite changes, etc. So what are the costs of stress? It is estimated that American employers spend over $300 billion every year on healthcare and lost workdays linked to stress. People in the UK miss 13.7 million days of work, resulting in over £30 billion in lost productivity each year. Research shows that stress affects the entire body and is linked to health problems like heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, depression, anxiety, cancer, lung disease, cirrhosis of the liver. So how should we treat stress? Getting plenty of sleep and exercise, practicing relaxation skills, setting goals and establishing priorities, and spending time with people we love, to name a few. And it is rightly said that the best way to escape from your stress is to face it and deal with it head on. Tell us, what does stress mean to you?
Well, stress is sometimes a considerable part of my life, having children and pets and a job and voluntary work. So yeah, I do at times feel quite stressed, but I think there are ways to cope with stress as well.
So how does one deal with stress?
So I deal with stress in several ways. Exercising I find very helpful, music, listening to music, dancing I find very stress relieving, particularly kitchen discos. I find being with friends and praying all help with stress.
What message would you give to the world, Sally?
That stress is part of our lives, but we don't need to let it overtake our lives.
Sally, as always, a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Tell us, what does stress mean to you?
For me as an individual, my stress manifests in physical pain and people being disorganized around me. So my stress can manifest in that sense, because if things aren't kept into a simple routine, there's chaos when there doesn't need to be chaos. And then I have to explain things over and over and over again, even though I've had people working for me for years. So that will not only stress me, but also irritate me, because I don't understand why a system's not been put in place after all these years. So that's my individual stress. But obviously people have different ways of dealing with stress. And I think the first thing you should do is try and slow down a little and be kind to yourself. Stop putting so much pressure on yourself. And if you're lucky enough to be in a situation where there's negative people around you, or you feel you're being mistreated, stay away from them. Try, if you're lucky enough in life, to surround your life with decent, honourable, kind people. If they don't listen and you're putting all your effort into helping them or guiding them or loving them, you need to learn more as an adult to just gently get rid of them. I know that's quite a harsh thing to say, but you need to surround yourself with love to enable you also to be happy and enable also to love others and people that need help. Amen.
Pippa, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. Tell us, what does stress mean to you?
Stress is, I think it's when you're struggling to handle things, but things are getting on top of you.
So what can one do about it?
Best thing is you've got to slow down. You've got to sort of, I think, talk to people. That's the first thing. You've got to let people know what you're going through.
What message would you give to the world, Liam?
Carry on, be positive and keep everything 100%.
Liam, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Tell us, what does stress mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, stress is something that we all enjoy, especially in our later lives. It can be related to all sorts of things, money worries, relationship problems. And I always remember that saying, stress is a killer. So too much stress, it can overwhelm you, it can affect your health, it can lead to all sorts of conditions. So I always associate stress with people's health and mental health, because it's such a negative emotion that it can cloud your judgment. So essentially it can affect all parts of your life.
So what can one do about it?
So ideally manage it. Manage your expectations a lot of the time, because there's a lot of societal pressures. There's expectations that we have. We always envy what the next person has, whether it be money, they've got a beautiful partner, and we compare that to our own lives. Whereas I think we should just manage our own expectations and not stress about what other people are doing. And I think that's probably the best way of doing it, because like I say, it's such a negative emotion, it can overwhelm you. Find a hobby, for example. Find a hobby that takes the stress slightly away from you if you are stressed, and try and manage your own life. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing.
So what message would you give to the world, Tom?
In terms of stress, recognise that that we can all have it in our lives, and like I say, try and manage it. For example, like what I do in my life is that I regularly swim, and I've noticed that a lot of people, they say when you're in water, it's a very calming effect. So especially when I'm stressed, I will go swimming, or I'll make more of an effort to go swimming, and I just find that it helps with my mental health. And I'm not saying my problems go away, but just for that time, and the stress isn't as bad, and that effect can last, sometimes a few hours. So find a nice hobby, a relaxing hobby.
Tom, as always, a pleasure. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Sanjay.